Welcome to FOMO Consulting for your daily MC stock analysis video on Wednesday, June 9th. Ladies and gentlemen, just another day in AMC stock, right? Been there, done that. The apes are winning, the diamond hands are winning, and most importantly, the retail investors winning. So if you find this video informative and entertaining, please like, share, certainly comment, and most importantly, subscribe. It is a newer channel, and I would appreciate your support. Let's get into the video. Thank you, as always, for each and every one of you who has liked, shared, commented, and subscribed. So let's start with a quote. The naked truth is always better than the best dressed lie, by Ann Landers. We have certainly had our naked discussions over the last few days, right? A lot of discussion about naked. So we've certainly had our fair share of lies, of mistruths, misdirections, you name it, it's been out there in the orbit and environment of AMC stock, including GME and others. We've had to undress the best dressed lie to get to the truth, right? So congratulations to everyone who continues to hold and continues to seek the truth. Let's look at the broader market today, and what I want you to pay specific attention to are the three charts on the top. Dow was down 152 points, NASDAQ down 13, S&P down 7. But just look at the overall trend of those charts, and I think you'll see a similarity between what we went through today. Overall, mixed day, a lot of anxiety, certainly in the second half of the day. CPI data is coming out in the morning. A lot of people are pulling out, waiting on that inflation data to see what it looks like, and no doubt AMC was affected by that pretty much all day long, as well as GME and others. But overall, not a terrible day, but certainly one filled with anxiety waiting on inflation. So let's look at crypto. Crypto, go figure, is up. As you can see, pretty good day. Bitcoin, Litecoin, Ethereum, Doge, all up. Pretty good day in crypto. Obviously, I believe there's a correlation there with the overall broader market. So the big news of the day, AMC put out the share count information. So let's go through it step by step real quick, and there'll be a million YouTube videos, I am well aware. So let's give it a shot. 501 million shares outstanding as of June 2nd. There were approximately 4.1 million individual shareholders. The voting will begin on June 16th. At 4.1 million individual shareholders, that, according to AMC, is more than 80% of AMC shares held by a broad base of retail investors, at an average of 120 shares per individual. You can argue about this for days on upcoming. So let's just quickly do the math. 4.1 million times 120 is 492 million, which is over, obviously, 80% of the float. 501 million shares leaves around, let's just call it, round up to 10 million shares. Well, let's look at some additional data. And again, there'll be tons of due diligence on this, but this is directly off 13F filings. As you can see, institutional ownership was 69.7 million at the end of March, and that has only grown. Mutual fund ownership, 47 million, that has only grown. As you can see, the percentages as laid out as of today. You can see the information off of Fintel. And that is updated daily. 432 total institutional owners. Institutional shares, 135.8 million shares. Again, you do the math. But if you take our 492 million that we just added up, plus the 69.7, plus the 47 million, that's 608.7 million, not including insider shares. You do the math. So let's look at how our apes in Germany did this morning. I could tell from the time I got up early, it was going to be a rough day. Germany was just falling off a cliff and drug us down with it. We're all connected, so everyone did the best they could today to just kind of hold on. There was a lot of outside factors at play, but well done, German Apes. So let's look at our baby, how it did today. Fell off a cliff right from the opening bell. Certainly no surprise. We were under heavy attack. Did rebound, and this kind of bled off and consolidated through the rest of the day. Got pressed down, heavily short attacked, as everyone knows. They wanted it down. They certainly saw some overall market pressure and took advantage of it on the sell side. But we held very strong, recovered well, actually very well at the end of the day. And we're trying to hold that $50 level. So no big deal. We did close at $49.34, down $5.71, 10.37%. We will be on SSR tomorrow, so they can only short it on the way up. So that does bode well. Plus the lack of short shares to borrow certainly bodes well for a decent Thursday, I believe. And after hours, we are down but recovering. So let's look at, we held that $50 level. We bounced around it. We are getting comfortable. We are consolidating, and I personally think that's very bullish. But if you look, even on a down day, we were in the top 10 on volume, even on a lower volume than where we've been lately. And we are still the most popular by far. So, as I mentioned, there's a lot of anxiety around the inflation report in the morning. Pretty much all three major indices sold off second half of the day in preparation of that. Just a lot of people scared, obviously, about what's going to be released. So as you can see, overall, looking at the 15-minute chart over the last several days, going back into late May, if you look, we ran up, and we've just been kind of consolidating, obviously volatilely, but we have been consolidating, and that is not a bad thing. We've been calming down on the MACD, trying to neutralize a little bit on the RSI as well as other indicators. So overall, we are finding a healthy level of support at the $50 level for our next leg up. So let's look at the 4-hour chart. As you can see, the moving average is kind of in a neutral direction. Alligator's mouth is still open. MACD is somewhat of a bearish crossover, but we are completely in overbought territory regarding the MACD on the shorter time frames. But the RSI has been pressed back into the channel, still in bullish territory, and that is a good thing. We have just been consolidating and cooling off. Not a bad thing. So let's look at the daily chart. Certainly no complaints here. Alligator's mouth is certainly wide open. MACD is actually in the overbought area. Would not surprise me a little bit to kind of fall down, kind of cool off. RSI, as you can see, is going back into the channel between 30 and 70, still very bullish. We could bounce off that level and keep our upward trajectory anytime. So GME had a really good day up until obviously the end, and then the heavy sell-off. I believe that was a coordinated attack as well as somewhat of a buy the rumor, sell the news type situation, but it is recovering. I think it'll be just fine, but it was a heavy sell-off, and it certainly pulled AMC down. AMC and GME are very connected, as we all know, and I believe that pairs trading is a big part of it. So I just took a snapshot after hours because it's a little slower ticker, but you can certainly see where the $100 block trades, 150, the 50s, create buying and selling pressure, not always legitimately. But pairs trading is when you basically bounce stocks, buying and selling between two heavily correlated stocks, which is another tactic our opponent uses to drag down both, which is why we typically move together, as well as BlackBerry and others, right? That's why the charts are almost identical on most days. So again, GameStop's had earnings this evening, beat estimates. Certainly was a great sign, and congratulations to GameStop and anyone invested in GameStop. But the CPI data in the morning is going to be a big catalyst up or down for the market. And as you can see how GameStop actually performed after earnings last, I believe it was in March, Certainly kind of fell off, but then recovered certainly and consolidated. So it's not the end of the world, this sell off here after hours. You can see how on the very same day of GME's earnings, how AMC performed. Again, pairs trading, almost identical. So let's look at how GME compared to AMC. So GME's Wednesday after the secondary, let's just call it squeeze run up late February, early March. I believe AMC is hopefully following that same pattern after the big pop. You can certainly see that secondary run up. I believe after a bit of consolidation, I believe we are in kind of that same period, hopefully. But on the Wednesday, GME actually went up 5.8%. We certainly did not follow that today. We fell off 10.37% today. How will tomorrow react? Who knows, right? Let's take a look. So day by day, I did this, and I've shown this several days in a row, but I think it's relevant to look at the overall averages. So if you go back to March, you look at how we performed historically on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, specifically Wednesday. March, we were down 4.54% as an average. Thursdays were green, 5.62% up. So Thursdays have been good. Let's look at April. Wednesdays, basically flat. Thursday in April, negative 1.38. But most importantly, and more recently in May, Wednesdays have been, kind of up and down, 2.29% as an average by day. Thursdays have been far better. Either we're slightly red or extraordinarily green, I believe. With gamma hedging, we may very well be in a good spot tomorrow. We will see. And as an average over 3 months, you can see Thursdays have absolutely equaled Mondays for us, which are historically green, as an average. Wednesdays and Tuesdays are relatively flat, as you can see. So let's look at the short interest trend lines. This was yesterday and this is today. It is falling off, no doubt, because the shares are being returned, at least the T+2 settlement period, but who knows how many they've actually borrowed more recently. So as of today, they borrowed 6.63 million shares. They returned 7.1 million. So they had every intent to borrow a lot of shares and short us down, no doubt, because the overall market had a lot of selling pressure. So they certainly took advantage of that, right? And to also keep us under control, knowing that GME may run leading up to earnings. But as I showed you before, there are 432 institutional owners. The short interest percent of free float is at 11%. Percent free float on loan 17. Shares on loan 87.68 million. Certainly down, believe that or not. Take it for what you will. Days cover has gone down just a bit, just simply because of the return shares, and cost to borrow has gone down 6.44, and utilization is still at a very high 82%. Again, this is all relevant. Everybody has kind of their own feelings, but this is the data we have to go off of. According to Fintel, 3.8 million shares, which is a huge increase in the short shares available. According to Fintel, a lot have been returned, and the fee has gone down substantially over the last few days to 3.47%. No doubt they are trying to obviously lessen their risk each and every day and every opportunity they can. So let's look at the options information. So this is expiring this Friday. You've got a huge conglomeration of open interest on the call and put side at the $50 strike. And again, at the $60 strike, you've got a lot of open calls, nearly 30,000. So if we can rise up, get above 55, as you can see, there's 14,000 contracts. But there's just a lot of contracts in the money right now. And more importantly, let's take a look at next week expiring next Friday, June 18th. As you can see, there is a ton of open interest at the $40 strike level, 50, and so forth and so on. So there's a ton of open interest at these various contracts going into next week, which would very well cause either a small gamma squeeze this week or certainly next week. So again, big trades, certainly bullish 1.9 to 1. On the call to put ratio, net premiums paid today was an astronomical 10.5 million. Volume was around a million, so an IV actually came down just a little bit. So overall, from that perspective, not a bad day. So let's close with a quote. There are lies, damn lies, and statistics from Mark Twain. I prefer to lead on statistics. You will hear a lot of different opinions, no doubt tonight and over the coming days about where we're at, what's going on, short shares, naked shorts, you name it. Do your own due diligence. Search for the truth, search for the facts, right? So as always, I'd like to thank you for watching. If you find this video informative and entertaining, please like, share, certainly comment, and subscribe. That would mean the absolute world to me. And as always, I hope your life is full of green candles. Hope you have a great evening. Take care.